from that, but still on education, former chairman of the Public Interest and Accountability Committee, PIAC, Dr. Stephen Mantiao, is questioning government's continuous use of oil money to fund free SHS program. Since its inception in 2017, government has spent 7.6 billion cedis on the program, 3.44 billion cedis representing 45.24% came from the annual budget funding, that's ABFA, of petroleum revenue. There's a current debate on whether to review the free SHS due to the current economic difficulties facing the country. But speaking at a public lecture organized by PIAC to review the 10-year of management of the use of petroleum revenues, Dr. Stephen Mantiao insists that government ought to invest the petroleum revenues in other ventures and use the proceeds from there to fund programs like free SHS.
The uneducated market woman at Mokola, who has had no education in economics, will tell you that nobody lives on his or her capital. Capital is meant to be invested, and you live off the dividends from investments. Let us as a country begin to realize that our natural resources and the revenues derived from them are our capital. We need to, as a country, invest this capital and then live off the dividends from the investments. And that is the way, in my view, to sustainably finance national programs such as the free SHS. For instance, under the previous government, we invested $30 million of oil revenue in Kotoka Terminal Trade through the Ghana Infrastructure Investment Fund. That money today is worth $37 million. So assuming that you had an arrangement to invest the capital, that $7 million will be the returns, and that is what you put into a fund, okay, to finance free SHS, so that beyond the depletion of oil, there will still be money invested to finance free SHS sustainably.
But in a sharp rebuttal, General Manager in charge of Sustainability and Stakeholder Relations at the Ghana National Petroleum Corporation, GNPC, Dr. Kwame Banyako, says spending on education itself is an investment and disagrees that using oil revenues to fund free SHS is not prudent.
There's an argument about whether education expenditure is consumption or whether it's investment. Where have we, you hear, let's invest in education. Do you hear anybody say, let's consume education? Hello, let's be honest with ourselves. Yes, government decided to use the money for a specific project. That's why I said I don't want to go into the free SHS thing. But if we are doing a pure economic debate, the returns on education is in the region of 24 to 36%. Depending on whether it's on primary education or it's on tertiary education. We can have an economic argument around that. And so if you, instead of using the money, invest on education, you decide to put it in a heritage fund, for the same generation that you are depriving them of education, you are putting money in the heritage fund, it gets only a return of 2% to 3%. I'm saying as an economist, it doesn't tell me that you are getting value for money. And so maybe I'd rather take the money and invest. There's fiscal infrastructure as a way of investment. There's human resource way of investment. And there's heritage fund. These are all investment opportunities, isn't it? We need to choose the one that gives us the maximum returns. And because if we invest in the education, we're actually investing in the future generation.
Meanwhile, petroleum economist and political risk analyst Dr. Theo Champon, who delivered a lecture on the 10 years of management and use of petroleum revenue, says Ghanaians are yet to feel the impact of the resource in their life despite the huge expectation.
The impact has been fairly negligible, and also is due to the fact that there was a lot of enthusiasm and hype, right, around the petroleum resources, that suddenly oil and gas is going to change the economic fortunes of Ghana around. Tell you what, 10 years down the line, we haven't really seen that. And it's really because the revenues have not been substantial enough, because the production is just around 200,000 barrels a day, as we speak, between 190 to 200,000. And if you really want that to have a big impact, you need big production volume. So the take-home point really is that we need more production to generate more revenue. And then we also need to improve the revenue management framework, particularly when it comes to the bit that we give to the finance ministry to spend within the budget. That's how you'll be able to see some sort of impact.
And finally, what about the issue people have raised about companies like GNPC? I mean, using money for patronage and the likes. What comments?
Yeah, we discussed that. The issue of GNPC is an interesting one, but remember that they are a creature of law, and the law gives literally the president and the appointing authority, just like with many of the SOEs, power to hire and fire and all of that. So as much as there are question marks around, we call it the quasi-fiscal expenditure of GNPC, like giving money for power guarantees and likes, we have to fundamentally go and change the